Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers, one of the most storied rivalries, one of the biggest rivalries, even probably the biggest rivalry in the NFL. Millions of fans are going to watch this game, and this is going to be a game to watch this Sunday. Now, why it's at noon, I don't completely understand, but hey, that's a topic for a different day. But quite honestly, I have a huge hot take to drop on all of you, and that is I think Chicago Bears can pull an upset win over the Green Bay Packers. Now, before you're going at me in the comments, hear me out. I think this is the best team that Chicago Bears have had in years. I mean, that defense is lights out. The offense is starting to look like an actual offense, and this Bears team is one of the best that we've seen in years, and it helps to have a quarterback that can actually make reads and a quarterback that can give the Packers a run for their money, and someone who's very talented in Justin Fields. So I think that this might be the first time in years the Chicago Bears pull an upset win over the Packers. And would it be something for Justin Fields to beat the Packers in his first year as a Chicago Bear? I mean, that would be awesome. But before we can do that, make sure to go and smash that like button like Khalil Mack, Zach, and Aaron Rodgers. Hit notifications so you know whenever I post, and comment below your score predictions in the comment section below and let me know what you thought about today's video. And now with that all being said, let's step right into today's video. Now, the biggest reason that Chicago Bears can beat the Green Bay Packers is because of their defense, and this defense has been really good in these past few weeks. In fact, one of the best in the NFL. So they are 5th in defensive DVOA. They are 8th in yards given up. They are 7th in points allowed. They are number 1 in sacks with alarming 18 sacks in the NFL. They are number 9th in takeaways, and they are number 3 in red zone TD percentage. If you look at all these stats, this defense is going to be ready to play. This defense can shut down Aaron Rodgers based on these stats. I mean, they were able to shut down Derek Carr. They were able to shut down Joe Burrow, and they were able to shut down Baker Mayfield until their offense just crumbled and they couldn't do anything. I mean, for the most part, this defense has been really great outside of that first Rams game. And if you talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, so far they have passed for 247 yards per game. And if you look at the Raiders game, they are very similar to the Packers in terms of the juice that they have. You know, the Raiders have a very good quarterback in Derek Carr. The Packers have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and then the Raiders have a very good running back in Josh Jacobs. The Packers have a very good running back in Aaron Jones. The Raiders don't have that bad of a wide receiver corps, not as good as the Packers, but a pretty decent wide receiver corps. And you know, with the Packers, outside of Devontae Adams, there's really nobody there. And then if you look on the running side of the ball, Aaron Jones and the Packers have rushed for about 100 yards per game, and the Bears last week only allowed Josh Jacobs to run for 48 yards. Now, in terms of Aaron Rodgers' production so far, Aaron has thrown for 1,241 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he's threw for 3 picks, and he's been sacked 10 times, which is not very good Aaron Rodgers' point of view, and it kind of shows that this Packers offensive line isn't that good. And lo and behold, a Bears defensive line that had 18 sacks. I think the Bears can get to Aaron Rodgers and frustrate him. And then for the Bears to play this game, if they can play like how they did against the Lions, and if they can play like how they did against the Raiders, like sacking Aaron Rodgers, and if they can have like guys like Kendall Bulldor, who relatively has been pretty decent locking down the Packers wide receivers. And an interesting stat about Kendall Bulldor is that he's only been targeted 11%, which is one of the lowest in the NFL. However, he has allowed a catch percentage of 81%, so that's not very good. So he has to play better, along with guys like Eddie Jackson, Duke Shelley, and Tayshaun Gibson. If the Bears want to win, all 4 of these players have to step it up. But one guy who does not really have to step it up is Jamin Johnson. Jamin Johnson has been an absolute stud and a lockdown corner, and he's really one of the most underrated cornerbacks in the NFL. With Trevon Diggs making a big name for himself, I don't think Jamin Johnson is being talked about enough. I mean, Jamin Johnson has a ball hawk rate of 25%, the 4th highest in the NFL. He is a guy who has been locking down receivers week after week, and he's been doing really good. So I think Jamin Johnson is going to have another great game, and if he can shut down Devontae Adams, the Bears defensive line can get to Rodgers. And you see, Eddie Jackson and Tayshaun Gibson stepping it up and locking down those tight ends, and Kendall Bulldor and Duke Shelley doing their jobs and locking down their wide receivers. It's going to be a very frustrating game for Aaron Rodgers, and a game where he throws multiple picks, similar to the Saints game, and the Bears defense pulls it up. But it all comes down to the Chicago Bears offense, and we know this offense has not looked good in the past. They've looked awful against the Browns, and they have to improve if they want to beat this Packers team, because this Packers team is very, and if you want to beat the Packers team, you should be putting up points at least on every drive so you can put this game away fast. And if you look at this Bears offense, it has been improving since that last Browns game. They put up 24 points against the Lions, and they put up 20 points against a very good Raiders team. And it all comes down to Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been pretty good. He's improving upon each game, and you can see his improvement. He's making the right reads. He's not making the same mistakes he's made before. He's finding guys wide open, and he has perfect ball placement. If he can keep that up, if he can have a game that he did against Detroit, I think the Bears can pull this off. And look, this Packers defense isn't that good. I mean, they have a lot of injuries on the defensive line with Xavier Smith on IR. So if the Bears were to use Justin Fields, and Justin Fields were to use his legs to extend plays and to either run for it or throw it on the run in a play action setting, and just launch that ball, I think it's going to make it very, very hard for the Packers defense to cover the Bears wide receivers. And you also have to factor in that outside of Adrian Amos, Packers secondary isn't that good. I mean, Darnell Savage last year got absolutely annihilated by Darnell Mooney, and that was Mitchell Trubisky. Imagine what Justin Fields is going to do. Justin Fields has one of the highest deep ball percentages in the NFL, with 15.3% of his passes going deep. And Justin Fields is going to need some help from his weapons against the Packers. His tight ends Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham are going to have to win their matchups. Allen Robinson is going to have to win his matchup against Eric Stokes. And Eric Stokes didn't have the best game last week against Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase last week had 6 receptions for 159 yards and 1 touchdown. So Eric Stokes hasn't been good. He's just a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. And you have a guy like Allen Robinson, a veteran, playing against him. I think that if he wins the matchup, you can see a big game from the Bears wide receivers. And we can't forget about Darnell Mooney, who absolutely annihilated the Packers last year, week 17. And if Marquise Goodwin can win some of those matchups, I think this Bears offense has a good chance. But they have to score, and they have to improve from what they did in games past. And also that offensive line has to protect Justin Fields so he can make his reads, so that he can find time to process through his reads and find his wide open guys. And this Bears off, and like I said before, his weapons have to find separation to help this guy out so the Bears can score on every single drive. And if all this happens, I think Chicago Bears can beat the Packers. But I want to know what you guys thought. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the Bears will beat the Packers? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go and smack that like button, hit notifications, and let me know what you thought. And with that all being said, peace out and bear down.